Hello and welcome to the final race weekend of the 2017 Audi R8 LMS Cup. Alongside me, as always, Mr. Sean Henshelwood. Sean, we're here at a brand new circuit in Zhejiang in southeastern China. What can we expect from this track?
Well, a very tight circuit, 3.2 kilometres, 16 turns, 20 metres of elevation change. Beautiful looking circuit, but I think it's going to present the drivers with an awfully big challenge because there's not going to be a lot of overtaking.
Well, we've got highlights of rounds 9 and 10 coming up later for you in the programme. Let's first take a look at some of the sights and scenes of the local area. It's been a fantastic season so far with events in Japan, Korea, Malaysia and here in China. Let's take a look at some of those highlights.
The sixth season of the Audi R8 LMS Cup began back at Sepang. Alessio Picarillo hadn't done much in the off-season, proved just how strong he would be. This is what happened to the reigning champion, three-time champion, Alex Young. No one expected to see that at home. The new signature move, Alex Young, the reigning champion, he did exactly what we'd seen him do so many times prior, and he recovered to go on to take victory in round 2 of the championship and get back into the title race. Then it was on to Japan. The very first visit by the Cup to Suzuka saw plenty of action at a very famous part of an iconic Formula One circuit. And we were surprised again to see reigning champion Alex Young spinning at 130R. It was all Alessio. Mitch Gilbert right in the mix, so too Stefan Riquelme. Second race at Suzuka, Frankie Chung on the front row. This was more drama for Alex Young. It wasn't to be. Frankie Chung, he needed this, a return to the top step of the podium. Next up, Korea, and it was fantastic to see the TSRT entry of David Chen, the AM Plus man, right in the mix of battle. At home though, KOU was not to be denied. He took the fight to round 4 winner, Frankie Chung. No denying the winner though, another victory to Alex Young. Alessio Picarillo responded very, very quickly, moving past Frankie Cheng back into the lead of the race and on to his 3rd win of the season. He was essentially unstoppable. And then it was Shanghai, the emotional home of the Cup for rounds 7 and 8 of the 2017 championship. Big move by Martin Rumper, 2-time winner at Shanghai in season 2016, but this was game over. For new rookie entry, Dries Van Thor though, in the Castrol entry, that was victory. Final round. You're not telling Alessio Picarillo that he's going to finish second. He's a racer. He wanted to win this from the front, and he was right in the mix, straight out the gate. He pressured the other young Belgian, forced him into a position he probably didn't want to be in. Brilliant calculated move by Picarillo, and he went on to take the victory, and with it, he became the 2017 Audi R8 LMS Cup champion with 2 rounds remaining. the penultimate round of the 2017 Audi R8 LMS Cup. That's why we're in Zhejiang. Jake Dennis, the young Briton, subbing first time for the Castrol Racing Team, takes pole alongside Mitch Gilbert and Alessio Picciarello, the new champ, with Martin Rump, David Cheng and Frankie Cheng rounding out the top 6. Dong and KOU complete the 8th, and it's Alex Young and Marchi Lee a lot further back than we're used to seeing. Burit Birambaki, Sungjing Zhu and outgoing AM champion Jeffrey Lee. Rolling start for the first ever race for the Cup at Zhejiang. And on the right of screen is the pole man, Jake Dennis. Left of screen, one of the best starts for the year for Mitch Gilbert, and they're away. Mitch Gilbert's got a great start, but Jake Dennis has dropped right back. He's being swamped by the drivers behind him, coming down to turn 1. Oh, contact, that's KOU. That's also taken Martin Rump and Frankie Chung. It's also dropped Alessio Picciarello right back down the order. David Chen leads this race. Top of screen, you can see that Jake Dennis has also stopped. So dramas for the pole man in his first start. Here he is, swamped off the line. That is Mitch Gilbert right of screen. So too Martin Rump. Then things start to go very wrong. Look to right of screen. You can see contact, and it's KOU going through. That is the Audi career car. Mitch Gilbert turned around on the exit, and clearly a drama as David Chen also goes onto the grass. Almost everybody involved in this. That is Alex Young making up good ground. So too Sean Dong. It looks like game over for Jake Dennis. On board now with Mitch Gilbert. He's clear and home into turn 1, but not for long now. He's facing the wrong way. You can see one of the antagonists right behind him. There he is, left of screen. KOU. Something's happened on the run down into the braking marker, and it has gone absolutely nuts. Mayhem in the first ever race here at Zhejiang. That is Jeffrey Lee moving up the order. So too Sungjing Zhu. Game over for Jake Dennis though. As we go on, this is Alessio Picciarello, sparks out of the rear of the number 15 machine. Looks like it's over for the new champion. Oh, this is the recovering Mitch Gilbert. He's straight into the side of Frankie Chung. He didn't want to be doing that. This has been a hectic opening lap, the first ever lap at Zhejiang. As a dejected Jake Dennis walks back after taking pole yesterday. He's not the only one. There's a few more back in pit lane being parked for the day. Sean Dong now making a move around his teammate. Alex Young takes position 2 away. And the young Audi Tita racing driver moves forward in hopes to catch onto the tail of race leader David Chen. Chen doing a brilliant job. Lives just an hour down the road and already leading in his first year in the Cup. Great battle further back. This is Jeffrey Lee, the outgoing AM champion, and Sungjing Zhu in the milestone entry all over the rear of the Audi Taiwan machine. What a great job. It's been a fantastic debut for TSRT this year, and David Chen has shown a very, very calculating mind as a race driver, and he's doing everything he can to punch out fast laps because he knows he's got Sean Dong coming behind him as one of the rising stars in Asia. Mitch Gilbert in recovery mode. He's trying to get around Marchi Lee. This is for 4th in the race. Has to go through the cut through at turn 1 so he doesn't make contact. He's probably going to have to redress that situation because he knows he'll be penalised if that's the case. Sungjing Zhu still all over Jeffrey Lee. This is a great battle. A little bit further back in the pack, and they're having one of their best results so far in season 2017. One of the greatest passing moves is out of the final corner and also into turn 1 and 2. And it looks like Sungjing's going to have a go. Jeffrey's gone in very late under brakes and just lets Sunji through, and he's going to get him on the crossover. Thanks very much. The older statesman works his way back in front in that battle. Another great fight. Sean Dong now. Oh, it closes in under the rear wing of the TSRT entry. He got very wide on the AstroTurf on the exit there. David Chen moves across to protect into turn 1, and that'll effectively close the door for Sean Dong. No move there for the 21-year-old from Hong Kong. What a great battle this is turning out to be at the front of the field, but the field really shaken up after that turn 1 incident as again Jeffrey goes into it with Sungjing Zhu. They get down to turn 1. He's gone too deep under brakes, and that has allowed the Chinese driver through. Mitch Gilbert now up onto the tail of Alex Young, the 3-time champion, looking to try and make a move forward. Oh, it looks like Sean Dong's got to the front, through into the final corner. He's gone wide. Probably more push to pass, twice as many being an AM Plus driver has David Chen, and it looks like he's got that position back on the run down to turn 1. Oh, that's getting very ugly, this battle between Mitch Gilbert and Alex Young. But of course, it's about the only place he can make a passing move. And these two drivers, very experienced. They're not giving each other a quarter, and that has allowed Mitch Gilbert through. He's got it on the run through and just closed the door on the Malaysian Master on the exit. There's new Malaysian Master on the rise, and it looks like it could well be Mitch Gilbert. Here's the replay on board with the young Malaysian driver. A little bit of contact. Oh, and a second one too on the exit. Up front, though, David Chen, this would be an historic victory, not just because he's a rookie and an AM Plus driver, but it's the first amateur win outright ever in the Cup's history in the first race here at Zhejiang. Sean Thong across the line in second. Mitch Gilbert crosses the line in third place, but of course a number of these drivers will be in to see the stewards, no doubt, after that start line incident, so things could get a little mixed up after, but there's no denying the man who's going to win this race, David Chen. What a great drive this season, and with this he becomes the 2017 AM Plus champion.
The AM Plus champion for 2017 season. And you also created history. You're the first AM category driver who took the win in the official race. What is your feeling right now?
It's unbelievable. I am so happy. I have to say I feel sorry for everyone who went in the T1, but that also created me a chance, and I was able to stay in the front.
David defended well, and I gave my last chance with the last push to pass in the last corner, and it failed. It's a bit pity that turn 1 and 2 has always been yellow flag, so that's one possible place to overtake, and I couldn't do it there.
Popular victory at home to David Chen and TSRT. What a great result for the first race at Zhejiang. Sean Thong second, his best result of the year. Alex Jung elevated to third ahead of teammate Marchie Lee. Frankie Chung, Mitch Gilbert received a 30-second post-race penalty. He finishes ahead of Burit Barenbakti, Sunjing Zhu and Jeffrey Lee. Ultimately, KOU, Alessio Piccirillo, the new champion this year, Martin Rump and Jake Dennis would be non-finishers.
It reminds me a lot of India, you know, in Korea, which we went to in year 2. Facilities are fantastic. Driving-wise, tough. It's going to be really hard to overtake. It's really stop-go stuff, you know, first gear, second gear around here. So in that regard, I think the racing will be a bit more like Taiwan. It'll be very hard to overtake.
Circuit feels a bit like a street circuit. It's really bumpy for a new circuit, so that's quite surprising for me.
The track is very technical. Most of the corners are using second gear and a few are using first. So it's very, very different to the typical circuit. It requires quite different driving technique around here to be fast.
Quite challenging, I have to say. I had to change completely my driving style for this track. Definitely aggressive driving style is good for this track. It's going to be challenging for the race. For sure there will be some contacts.
For racing, I think it's going to be really good. The first and middle sectors are all second gear. Shouldn't really get too much turbulent air. I think the opportunities for the race will be great.
The right line is very important, and if you miss just a little bit, that ruins your lap. Even though it's very bumpy and people think you have to be smooth and be gentle, there has to be a mix of also aggressiveness in this track, because combine them together and then good lap.
Well, we're very happy to be joined here at the panel by the new champion, Alessio Piccirillo. Alessio, you had a lot of highlights this year, but if we could ask you just to highlight one, what would it be?
I think definitely the last race in Shanghai, when I won the championship by winning the race and making a nice move on Dries Vanthoor. Also, Suzuka for me was really special. It was a dream for me to drive there, and I'm really proud I've won there, actually.
Earlier, we spoke to some of your predecessors as champions to see what they thought this could do for your career. Let's take a look.
First Audi Cup Championship was pretty special, especially because the year before I'd missed out on it by 1 point through my own fault, crashing in Macau, also a crashing career, I think. Managed to win 3 championships in my time in the Cup, and I still feel like I'm pushing as hard as ever.
Changes everything. People only remember the winner of a championship. When I won the championship, it was a big change for me in my motorsports career. I cemented my name in Asia.
It does change things around. You know, people do look at you a bit differently. It does help you open up a few other opportunities. So, you know, with Alessio, you know, it's his first championship this year, so that'll certainly help him moving forward.
I think he's very good. I think he's very talented. Every race I've seen, he's stepped up the game a notch. Asian competition now, especially in GT3, I think is very strong. Almost coming up to the level of Europe. So I think if he goes into Europe or America, he'll be able to perform within a few races. And I think it would be good potential for him to expand his career. It's a good bargaining chip for him for wherever he decides to progress.
I think Alessio is always very quick driver, very nice guy, good character, and also very good charisma. I think Alessio have the full package. I would suggest him to stick with one of the manufacturers who can help him to achieve more in his career. But these days the motorsport have been changing. As long as you have charisma, you have speed, there's no worry about him.
It's all come down to this, the final round of the season. We have an outright champion, we have an AM Plus champion, but the battle's still alive in the AM division, and the battle is well and truly alive for second position in this championship, and it's a five-way battle. Mitch Gilbert is going to make the most of that battle by taking pole position alongside David Chen for the final round of the year. Alessio Picariello, Martin Rump, Frankie Cheng and Jake Dennis qualified on pole but received a 5-position penalty as a result of that incident in round 9. Sean Dong leads row 4 from Marchi Lee and Alex Jung, his Phoenix Racing Asia teammates, and KOU, Sunjing Zhu, Jeffrey Lee and Burit Birambakti. Standing start for the final race of the year, and they're away. Martin Rump well out of line. Some drama there for the young Estonian. He's all the way to the back of the field. Mitch Gilbert, though, all the way to the front of the field. He goes into turn 1 in the lead, or does he? Alessio Picariello, the 2017 champion's gone down the inside, but shot through, gone wide under brakes across through the cut-through. He may need to redress that too in a hectic run into turn 1, but we got through cleanly this time as the MGT team by Absolute Car leads this field around again, as he's done so many times this year. Replay now on board with David Chen from the front row. You can see that's Mitch Gilbert immediately ahead of him. He moves across to counter the Chinese driver. So too does Alessio. Come into the braking mode. He's gone down the inside. No grip on the grass. Had to go through the cut-through to avoid an incident on the rejoin. It'll be interesting to see what the stewards have to say about that. Mitch Gilbert nicely tucks in under his rear wing. Now it's Martin Rump we're on board. We watch the whole field stream past. Great crowd here in support of the first Cup race at Zhejiang, and they're watching the young Estonian charge back through the field. Dramas. Sean Dong's been involved in something. Second in round 9. And he's dropping right back through the field. Now between teammates Alex Jung, Marchi Lee, and that's the race leader. That's the race leader. Alessio Picariello has spun. Has he been turned around? Has somebody touched him on the way out of turn 3? A big problem there for the Belgian driver. Let's go on board with Mitch Gilbert in a replay and see what happens. He's just lost the tail end of the car. Got out on the dirty part of the circuit by the looks of it. And you can see there in that slow motion replay, just lost the tail. That is a very uncharacteristic move from a man who's been absolutely flawless in season 2017. Jake Dennis now is working his way back into contention in the Castrol machine. He set pole for this race, but was given a penalty for that opening lap incident in round 9, and that forced him to start a little bit further back. Nice clean move there. David Chen, very gentlemanly, allows the young Briton some racing room. Now he tucks in under the rear wing of Mitch Gilbert, and he's desperate to get to the front. He knows too Mitch Gilbert's in the battle for second in this championship, as the frustrating side of Sean Thong crawling through the grass means that his chances of being second are over. They say you can't overtake at Zhejiang, but Martin Rump's proving everybody wrong. He's first gone through on Alex Jung. Now he's taken Frankie Chung, and he is on the move onto the tail of the top 3. A brilliant recovery from the young Estonian. It's been a tough year for him. But this is a great run back through the field. Shows just what he was really capable of, as Jake Dennis gets really racy now, pushing hard. Just tries to put Mitch Gilbert offline, but unless you got an absolutely perfect line through there, that was close. Opened the door just a little bit, did Mitch, but closed it again as this battle that was in round 9 goes on between Sunjing Zhu and Jeffrey Lee. Jeffrey's using his push to pass to fire up the inside on the run down to turn 1. It looks like he's made it stick, just needs to pull it up now and turn into the apex at turn 1. He's got that position. Martin Rump now all over the back of David Chen, the round 9 winner, carrying an extra 50 kilos of success ballast, but also carrying twice as many push to pass as the pro drivers. That allows him to get away from Martin Rump, or does it? Up the inside into turn 1, he has to pull it up, get across to the apex. David Chen's just closed the door again. What a brilliant drive. This man's been super impressive this weekend, taking the round 9 win, and here he is defending hard over third place. You can see on the replay, the champion entry is down the inside, but he just couldn't pull it up. Got on the slippery part of the circuit, tried to get hard back on the gas, but David Chen was already there. As now, could this be the same for the race lead? It is. Two wheels down the grass across the curb, but he closes the door on the exit, and that is the race lead to Jake Dennis, and he's promised so much since he first turned up here on his debut run in the Cup in practice. on board with Mitch. You can see he moves across to try and take the inside, sees the green entry alongside him, just leaves the door open enough. He was defending, but he also knows he's in the battle for second in this championship. So the main thing for him was to finish this race. Another one that's gone deep in. Jeffrey's done the same thing. He tries to recover, but knows that he's lost the position, has to concede to Zhejiang Zhu as the last lap board comes out. And for Jake Dennis, he's completed what has been a pretty good weekend. But for that opening race drama, he crosses the line to take victory in the final round of the 2017 Audi R8 LMS Cup. Across the line second comes Mitch Gilbert, and third for David Chen, who managed to just hold out the recovering Martin Rump.
I took quite a risky strategy with the push to pass and used pretty much everything I had. And then went for a move into turn one and paid off. He gave me space, and yeah, it was a really, really good race.
In the end, I think he wanted it quite a lot more than me. His move was quite optimistic, but it's okay, you know, at the end of the day. Finished second in the championship. I feel like I've been the second best to Alessio all year, so I'm happy to walk away with second.
So there it is, the official result of the final round of the 6th season of the Audi R8 LMS Cup. And Jake Dennis takes the win from Mitch Gilbert and David Chen. Great recovery from last for Martin Rump. Alessio Picariello recovers for 5th from Frankie Cheng, Alex Jung and KOU. And it's on to Zhejiang Zhu, who takes the victory that he's been battling so hard for over Jeffrey Lee all weekend, ahead of Sean Thong and Marchie Lee as failures to finish. In the overall standings, Alessio Picariello, well, he'd already done it. He takes the win. Mitch Gilbert, though, comes through to get second from his teammate at Absolute Racing, Frankie Chung. Then Alex Jung and Sean Thong round out the 5. David Chen, the runaway winner of the AM Plus classification over Jeffrey Lee. Then Burrit Birambakti takes the win in the AM Cup.
Well, Sean, what a weekend it's been. David Chen, an amateur driver no less, with the win and then another podium with 50 kgs in the car. Is that the highlight of the year for you?
It's certainly one of the highlights. I mean, another Chinese driver too, making a comeback this year, Frankie Chung. You've got Alessio Picariello also winning the championship so convincingly, and you couldn't discount the performance of Absolute Racing too. So there's been an awful lot of highlights.
Well, that wraps up this year, but already people starting to look forward to 2018. What can we expect from next season?
The addition of the GT4 category, which will provide another pathway into the Audi R8 LMS Cup for season 2018, and that's very much a development we're looking forward to.
It certainly is, Sean. Thanks very much for your insights all year long. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next year. Goodbye. Ready for the start. Leading in the championship, Alessio Picariello.
Take 3.
What's next? Alessio Picariello and Martin Rump. Then you got...
Do you want to do that one more time?
Yes.
This better not be in the outtakes.
Maybe just happy to have Alessio Picariello the chef.
Yeah, see?
No. Really? Really, really.
Okay.
I think we're okay. But they can cut and paste a little bit.